So my last area was the Las Palmas de Gran Canaria in the Canary Islands. So the Canary Islands, they're an archipelago of 7 bigger islands and 7 smaller islands, but only, I believe, 7 of those islands are inhabited. And I was on the, I want to say the second or third largest island called Gran Canaria, the Great Canary Island. And the Canary Islands are really, really interesting. They're completely, almost in every way, different from mainland Spain, especially Madrid, the capital, where I was for a year and a half. So I was in the Canary Islands for 6 months, and it felt like I was serving in a different country for most of that time. The Spanish there spoken, it's more similar to Caribbean Spanish, like the Spanish spoken in the Dominican Republic and Cuba and Puerto Rico, because it was when, like, lots of the traders and the people, the people in the Spanish Empire, they would stop through the Canary Islands on their way to the Caribbean for trade purposes, and also lots of Canarians emigrated to, like, the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So there's a lot of similarities in the culture and the language between the two, just because of trade trips back and forth, and the food is similar. The Canary Islands, the weather was a dream. Probably 70 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, give or take a few degrees, and it hardly ever rained, partly cloudy, and you could just feel the sea breeze, kind of the mist on your face wherever you went, because you're so close to the ocean. They're geographically pretty small. But like I said, going back, I was serving in Las Palmas, which is one of 2 capitals of the Canary Islands, and it's the most populated city in the Canary Islands. When I was there in the middle, so I was there from May to the end of September of 2011, my companion and I, we were the only set of missionaries in Las Palmas. And luckily we had a car. It's pretty rare in the Madrid mission to have a car on the mainland, but then in the Canary Islands, since we cover the whole north half of the island and Las Palmas, we needed a car in order to get around. But serving there was a blast. Just the people in the Canary Islands are so warm and friendly and open. They would just give you the shirt off their backs. Stopping them, even if they weren't interested in what we had to say, they loved to talk about America and kind of our story and hear what we were doing there. And I think just there's an overall more laid back, relaxed feel in the Canary Islands compared to Madrid, where it's more hurried and everyone is kind of just go focused on what kind of plan out their day and not really able to stop and talk. But in the Canary Islands, leisure and free time spent with family is very highly valued. So it was hard with meal appointments in the Canary Islands, just staying an hour, which was the maximum allotted time we had, because the members or investigators who would feed us loved to just talk. So we would get there and talk, and then the food, take a while eating that because we were talking. And then in Spain, in both the Canary Islands and in the mainland, they have something called sobremesa, which means after they eat the big meal of the day around 3 o'clock, they just sit around the table and talk about anything and everything, about life, which is I love that tradition. I wish we had more of that here in the States. But sadly, as missionaries, we couldn't really participate too much in that. But the church in the Canary Islands came about a lot later than it did in the mainland of Spain. I think the first members were baptized in 1979, and the first missionaries got there in 1980. So it is barely 30 years old. And they just created a stake in the Canary Islands about, I guess it's been two years now. But that was a huge milestone for the members there, for their branches to become wards. And And the members there, they're like one big family. They have a lot of unity because they're so isolated from kind of the most well-known landmark of the church in Spain, which is the temple. Like there's not a lot of recognition of the church there in the Canary Islands. So they really stick together and they're really active and they're amazing. I think if any missionary who serves in the Canary Islands is really lucky because the members there really put in perspective how to live the gospel without feeling like you have to do everything all at once. Like that scripture in Mosiah 4:27 where it says, don't run faster than you have strength, do everything in order. The members in the Canary Islands really understand that, how the gospel can be lived and you can be happy. Like the two can and should coexist. Like they're just so happy with the joy the gospel brings them, and they love sharing it with everyone. It's a great place to serve. In the Canary Islands, they're volcanic islands, which means there are lots of really cool outdoor stuff to do. So on P days, you'll get to go hike probably Teide, which is the highest mountain in Spain, and also Roque Nublo, which is on the Gran Canaria island, and just amazing waterfalls. And probably won't get to go to the beaches, but lots of mountains, and you can at least see the ocean from pretty much anywhere you are. And when I was in the Canary Islands, one thing that was interesting was that, so I was the zone leader, and in order to get to the other islands to do exchanges, we would actually fly, and that was cheaper than taking a ferry and a lot more time efficient. So we would fly about twice a month pretty regularly, and every island in the Canary Islands has its own kind of unique qualities and identity as far as the landscape and the cuisine and the culture and the way Spanish is spoken, even just from island to island. So they're pretty amazing.